This is AM 650's The Law Show with Sterling Fox. Now back to the show.
In studio on this episode of The Law Show, Joe Murphy and Steve Gibson from Vancouver personal injury law firm Murphy Batista, LLP, downtown at 650 West Georgia. We've been talking, gentlemen, about the sorts of personal injury work that you do at Murphy Batista, the sorts of people you represent. But throughout the conversation, we've been talking basically about car accidents or traffic accidents, and that, while I'm sure it forms a huge percentage of the work that you do at Murphy Batista, Joe Murphy, what other types of personal injury cases do you take on?
Sterling, there are people who get injured at their home or at somewhere. They slip and fall, which usually is trivial and nothing happens, but some people who slip and fall get badly hurt.
Yes.
Spinal cord injuries can occur from that. Recreational things that people do result in bad injuries. And I know at Whistler there are more people airlifted off the mountain in the summer than in the winter.
Wow.
So you have the bike parks,
I
and
was
you have
just
all
gonna
these
say,
other things.
I was up there for that the big bike festival at Whistler in August, and the ambulance was the hardest working vehicle around that day.
But the helicopters that lift the really badly ones off the hill,
Sure.
That's busier in the summer. You get people who, Steve and I acted for a little girl terribly injured at a building supply store when a big
It was a wall unit.
Unit display tipped over like a falling oak tree and crushed her. We do some medical malpractice work. We do some dental malpractice work. It's just an amazing number of different ways in which people can get hurt. And, of course, these are people that started out that day without any thought that something bad would happen to them, and it did.
A lot of people don't realize that their home insurance policies can be used for things that happen outside their home. I have a case right now where an elderly woman was walking at the P&E, and a young guy running top flight through crowds hit this woman. She ended up fracturing her elbow and having a head injury because of a really bad fall
so
to
this
the
kid,
ground.
He knocked her down.
Yeah, knocked her down. I mean, it was an accident.
Of course,
it was an accident.
Right.
But it was negligent at the same time. So his home insurance is actually defending that case, believe it or not. So a lot of things that happen out in everyday life that are negligent conduct are covered by homeowners policies.
Well, I was just thinking, that's the sort of classic case of, oops, it snowed last night. I haven't had a chance to get out and shovel off the walk because it's my day off and I'm sleeping in, and somebody slips on my section of the sidewalk in front of my house, and I know I'm going to hear from their lawyer really soon. How liable am I in that case, Joe?
Well, I think you are, but as Steve was saying, the homeowner policy coverage extends far beyond your yard.
Oh, okay.
If I'm skiing on a ski hill anywhere in the world and I'm not watching where I'm going and I run over someone or run down someone, my homeowner policy will cover that anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. The homeowner policy coverage is for liability claims generally says anything except your work or except operating a motor vehicle is covered, generally.
And now, does that extend to tenants insurance as well as homeowner policies?
Yes, which is why that coverage, especially for a tenant, is most valuable. It's the liability claims. If I'm a tenant in a building and I leave a tap on and create a huge flood and there's $100,000 in damages,
right,
I'm going to get sued by the building
absolutely
for that. And if I have a renter's policy, that will cover me for that. It will cover my defense and cover any damages. Mm-hmm. So whether you're a homeowner or whether you're a renter, those policies are so valuable because of the coverage they provide for, as I say, just about everything outside your work and outside operating a motor vehicle, anywhere in the world.
Now, that's hugely valuable information, Steve. I don't imagine most people listening to us this morning are aware of the extent or the reach of a typical renter's or homeowner's policy, because we all just sort of confine that to the acreage or the room or the area around the house. That's what it's for.
Precisely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You have to be able to look at the homeowner's insurance policy and make sure that you're triggering one of the coverages in order to be able to access that insurance. And sometimes the insurance companies will defend the person that they're insuring, but they reserve the rights not to insure them if their investigation leads to some way for the insurance company to get out of helping their own insured.
Aha.
So there's lots of little tricks to that, but generally we don't like to clean people out personally. I mean, we're usually looking for insurance situations.
Yeah,
right.
Sterling, we get hired on cases where people have had a claim, for instance, a fire at their home, and the insurance company's refusing to pay. So we call those coverage claims. We get a lot of disability insurance claims where a person can't work, yet the disability insurer refuses to pay. The odd time a life insurance claim, but those are quite rare. But the more common ones are the coverage claims. We had one where a fellow running a business, I think it was a little motel, had a fire, and the insurance company wouldn't pay. So those are the kinds of cases we do, which aren't personal injury, but they fall under the insurance umbrella.
And you can check out Murphy Batista online, and all the contact information to speak to our guests today or any of their colleagues and associates down at 650 West Georgia is available to you at murphybatista.com. Joe and Steve, thanks so much, gentlemen, for coming in. Great conversation. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Sterling.
See you next time on The Law Show.